This is the Brown Buffalo Conceal Tote, and I would say that for all the stuff that's going on in the world with tragedy and lone wolf shooters, this could be a solution that you may find useful depending on exactly what you're allowed to bring to work, use at work, etc. Let's talk about some full disclosures. Brown Buffalo sent this out to me for the purposes of making some type of content. They didn't know if it was going to be a review or YouTube short or Instagram reel or photos. They didn't care. They just wanted me to give my opinion about it. They didn't get to see anything before I published it, and they're not paying me any money. I will say that this has quickly taken over as my favorite, most versatile bag. Before this, it was the nutsack. I think they just called it the nutsack tote. That was a tote bag, and that was very versatile as well. And then I had an Eberly stock, very big bag that I used that was pretty versatile as well. But this one, I like the features about this a lot. This is, as the name would suggest, it is called the tote bag, meaning it does have tote type features because of the way it's shaped. But it does have backpack straps that you can use, which I think are pretty awesome. They're very padded. While we're back here just showing you what these things look like, but there is a pocket right here, which I currently have some armor in, but there's a pocket in the very back, and I'll show it to you while laying it down, which in here you can you can take these actual straps, and if you want to, you can tuck these in to the bag, and you can tuck this into the bottom of the bag. And when you do this, this becomes a tote bag. So let me show you what that looks like. Before I show you what that looks like, I did mention I have armor in here. So I have some armor from Premier Body Armor. I just got the universal armor. And if you get their universal armor, there's a lot of different areas that you can kind of stick their universal armor. So here's the universal armor from Premier Body Armor that I had back there, which is going to be up to level 3A rounds that it can protect against. But now you can see this area in the very back. This is where I keep the actual strap for the bag, because you can wear this over your shoulder like a tote bag. And the strap is very well made, feels good. But you normally would take these shoulder straps, you can tuck them in here, and it doesn't really matter how well you tuck them in, because this is, you're turning it into a regular bag. And then you can tuck these straps in at the bottom, and just like that, you now have a tote bag with no straps coming out. And you do have these carry handles where you can carry it right here, or if you want to, you can take the provided shoulder strap and the D-rings on the outside of the bag, and you can strap these in. Now these pretty high quality, so then now you can, it's more of a traditional tote bag that can be worn over your shoulder, and it's actually pretty versatile. This gives me vibes when you take the strap off, the one strap off, and you just carry it like this. This gives me vibes of the bags that naval operators and mostly like helicopter pilots and aviators in the Marine Corps and the Navy carried. Those green bags they carried around, officers carried them around too. That's what this gives me vibes of. So in the past, Brown Buffalo has made a helmet bag, which was specifically designed for helmets for, I think, like fighter jet pilots and helicopter pilots and stuff like that. They have made those bags. This one is a little bit too small for a full-fledged like fighter jet pilot's helmet and all the stuff that they have attached to it. But this will accommodate a bump helmet or ballistic helmet, no problems whatsoever. Very good build quality. I like the fact that if you want, you can stick this strap back here. Now, I will say one complaint is when you have the strap back here, you can feel this in your back. I keep it back here because it makes it convenient. If I really wanted to, I could fish it down. I could put my hand in here and I can kind of move the strap around until the strap's at the very bottom. It's just different preferences, or you can leave the strap at home. I like to just keep the option to keep it in here, because if you're going through an airport, if you're going through something where you don't want this hanging and you want it to be more slimmed down, you might want to be able to get quick access to the strap. I did stuff this Premier Body Armor into the back like I mentioned, so that works out really well. So also, the bag has these cinches on the side so that once you have it fully packed out, you can even more, cinch it down, and just kind of sort of make it so that, you know, it's even more water resistant. And so just really, really compress this bad boy down, push these very easily, kind of release that, and then you can get back in there. I've added the Vertex rapid access pull tab version 1 to this to quickly open it up, because I do think that this is a good office bag to keep a boomstick inside if you're allowed to do that wherever you work, and you might want to have quick access to it. Before we jump into that part though, we do have a it does have a fiddle lock or fit lock. These are fantastic because of how easy they are to access. You pull this off, it's metal, it has a great clasp on it. Like, it's really easy to just kind of, let me bring you in so you can see how what this lock looks like. So if you look at the lock itself, you pull here to take it off, and it just clasps back on. I mean, just very satisfying. Look at that. I like that a lot. You can adjust this very easily with a high quality. That's what I mean by, like, they really took their time with some of the details of this bag. Look at the stitching, lots of double stitching, well-made stitching points on this bag. And just see how well, like, I have you really zoomed in because I really want you to see how well they did with the materials themselves. So on the front of the bag, since we're already here, you're going to notice these two pockets. These are identical to one another, and they are pretty deep. They go all the way down, and they have zippers to them. Then behind that, if you open up this little fiddle lock area, this is where you can see a little slip pocket, which is really good if you want to quickly slip your cell phone in it while you're walking through an airport or something like that. And then you have a deep pocket that you may want to keep a pair of big headphones, maybe an iPad or whatever. And that all works out pretty good. It's a pretty good system. It does have water bottle pockets on both sides. So over here, I would normally keep a water bottle pocket, and it has the cinch so you can keep that tied down. And over here, I normally keep my non-lethals. So here I do have some pepper gel, which makes easy access to some pepper gel with the water bottle pocket. And then I have, this is the Ace Beam T37 light, which recently came out, 4,000 lumens for that high mode with the strobe mode. So that's going to be another non-lethal method for somebody that's trying to do bad things to me. So that's pretty good. Now I'm going to show you the inside of the bag by completely reversing the bag. But before I do that, just to show you, this can take basically like a 7.5-inch barreled weapon with a muzzle brake, and it will fit just fine. So if we take a look here, this is my DDM4 Battalion Defense 300 Blackout, and it can go inside pretty easily. So if you're thinking about using this for some type of defense type measures, this might work out well for you. Now hold on, I'm gonna take this, make it go inside out, and see if I can show you exactly the features. Mainly I want to do that because it's kind of hard to see inside. You see how that hyper orange, it's hard to see inside of that. All right, so now this is the bag inside out, a way you would never carry it. But I wanted to just show you the organization of this bag without trying to like force a camera to go inside. So on one side of the bag, you have a completely see-through area, and this is big enough actually to fit like a 13-inch MacBook Pro if you wanted to do that. And if it was in sleep mode, it would probably be fine around this plastic. I don't know what this is made of. It almost feels like an acrylic mixed with plastic. How was it going to hold up over the years? I'm not sure, but very subtle branding on this. So I have this is my Ray-Ban Meta sunglasses. Next to that is a survival kit with a med pouch. So this is a Lock B. This is their, I think they're called their field pouch. I can't remember. I'll link up any of this stuff down below because I'm going to forget the names of some of this stuff. I like this. It's a double-sided organizer. One side is just full of like a mini survival kit. Zip ties if you need to try to zip tie a door shut, or paracord if you want to use this to tie a door shut in your office building. Same thing. Duct tape, enough duct tape to seal off a door in your office if you had an emergency situation. Just all sorts of little things that can help you inside of an office if it really came down to it and you really had to try to defend yourself. Just a small kit to MacGyver some stuff. The other side is an ouchie boo-boo kit. Not really trauma. I do have a heavy trauma kit in my truck that I would maybe think about incorporating here, because this is mostly ouchie boo-boo Band-Aid type stuff. A bunch of pills for like headaches. If you have stop diarrhea, all that type of stuff is in this pouch. a little bit of triple antibiotic ointment. I do have an emergency blanket in here, just in case you want to give that to somebody or use it yourself. So this side is, but if you didn't want to use it as a med kit, it does have some Molly or like a elastic banding in there if you wanted to use it that way instead. So it's a nice little pouch. But this fits neatly inside of the bag itself. And then next to that, I do have my mini field organizer from Lockbee that I talked about. I'm using my Data Crew, the Data Crew large fry as a wallet right now. So this is where if I'm in a business attire or whatever, and I don't want my wallet all in the way, I can just throw it in here and I still know I can. So you may ask yourself, why would you want a see-through pocket inside of a bag that you can't really see? You can, depend on how you actually use this thing, you can see what's inside of here. There's different methods to try to like make sure you can see inside. For one, I have a little light that hangs from the supply key holder in here, and I can use, this is just enough light to shine inside the bag to see if I'm missing anything. So that's on this side. The other side of the bag is more organization. I like the way this is organized. As I mentioned earlier, here's that key holder. So you can put your keys on there. In this light, in this instance, I do have a small light that has an internal battery. When it dies, you just change it out. Then you have two slip pockets in the front. These two slip pockets, one, I do have an actual, a North American Rescue combat action tourniquet. So I have an actual tourniquet that would be good for stopping the bleeding, that might be beneficial in an office environment if someone were to get hit. And then I do have a fixed blade knife, mainly because normally in my pocket, I normally have a folding knife. It's nice to have a fixed blade if you need to do more intense cut, longer cuts, you shouldn't use it. You can use a pry bar. You can use it for prying, although you should not. But if you really needed to, you could. By Montana Knife Company, that is the actual War Goat. Behind this, they made this so it is the perfect size for an 11-inch iPad. So you can kind of see that. This works well right behind it. And you can put a smaller case on it and still use that. And then behind both of those areas is a laptop. So this is a 14-inch laptop by Dell. And this laptop fits in here just fine. So if you got a 14-inch MacBook, I think you can get away maybe a 15-inch laptop because of the way the zipper closes. But very, very well organized for their options for this bag. I like the way that they did this. One thing to mention is that, as I mentioned earlier, the weapon was just sitting in the middle of the bag, and the weapon was just kind of resting on the bottom of the bag itself. So this is just, they did a really good job of implementing this bag's features overall. And I like the way they decided to kind of roll with this. And I could see, I like this organization styling. I like the versatility of this bag and the fact that you can still squeeze armor in it. You can get a AR style pistol in this bad boy. You can put other weapons in here if you needed to, run extra magazines, take this in a work environment if you're allowed to. This works really, really well. Up until this point, what I was taking for mainly my work trips. So anytime I had a work trip, I was taking the Brown Buffalo Conceal Tote. I was taking this bag, the Brown Buffalo Conceal pack. This is the 21. I like this because it stands up on its own. I mean, it's kind of leaning because I don't have it packed properly, but even not packed properly, it stands up on its own. This is a really big 21 liter. Like, it feels bigger than other 21 liters. And I love other bag companies. Listen, I'm talking to you, 511, Eberly Stock, Able Carry, Vertex. I'm talking to all y'all. It is something different about hand sewn bags. Someone running it through a sewing machine, like for every single component. Like, I don't know, they don't really use machines for much of this at all. You can feel the difference. So when these companies are asking $300 plus for a bag for something like this, lifetime warranty, I think is pretty dope. And then just like on every single one of their bags, they always have a secret saying that you see right here where it does say practice empathy. So on the only other things that I normally have in this bag, on those outside pockets, I normally am carrying a battery charger by Sarge. I carry an SD card reader because I do film YouTube videos. So I normally would have those on the outside. And every now and again, I will throw in an actual pry bar. This is from Daily Carry Co. This is their pry bar, but they've added a pocket clip, which makes it a little bit more usable for putting inside of bags and being able to see that you actually have it with you. So that makes a lot of sense. But comment down below. What do you think about the actual Brown Buffalo Conceal Tote? This is very unique. I think I like what they're doing with this. I like the way that they've decided to approach it overall. And let me know if this is something that you'd be interested in, especially in these work environments where people are starting to do all sorts of stuff lone wolf style. If you're allowed to LTC, if you're licensed to carry, or CCW, whatever the hell you call it in your state, with something like this might be an option for you. First time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.